Hello again. Today is August the 1st, 2026. We are flying through the year, and today I'm going to chat about cats I have loved. I did one about dogs I have loved some time ago, and this one is cats. I actually started off with cats. My first cat, Elizabeth Anastasia Okonowitz. I got her when I was 17, and she was only about 6 weeks old when I got her from an animal shelter. I lived in New York City in Manhattan. And this little thing, she was black, except she had like a little white bikini covering her breasts, and she had like a little white spot here. And she was the smartest little thing. She was just so adorable. They say, it's easier to teach dogs, but that's just not so. If you have never worked with cats, they are extremely easy to train. And I used ground hamburger meat for Lizzie. To teach her, the first thing I did was I rolled up I made a little tin foil ball, and I threw it and I said, fetch. And it didn't take her very long to learn that this was a game we were playing. And within 3 days, she was fetching this little tin foil ball for me. So that was the first thing. So she had that down. So then I taught her to shake paws, just like you would say to a dog, shake. And after that, I took a coat hanger and I opened up the metal so that it was kind of round, and I taught her to jump through the hoop. And then I also had her walking on a leash in Central Park with me, and that was Lizzie. And to keep her company, about a year later, I brought Hannibal into my life. Hannibal was an orange tabby, and I believed nobody was going to adopt him because his tail looked like a little rat's tail with hardly any hair on it. So I thought, who's going to want this baby? And it turned out I was completely mistaken in that. This tail turned into this magnificent huge plume towering over Hannibal. And I had those kitties about 3.5 years. But my husband got increasingly mean with them. Um, he just didn't like animals. And so I decided they would be better off with other people. I took them to an animal shelter that said that it was a no-kill shelter. And it turns out that was a lie. My friend Paulette had brought her two cats to the same shelter. I found this out years later. And while she was still in the lobby filling out paperwork, another woman came in and she started to talk to her about these two cats she had just brought in. The woman came in for a cat. And the shelter would not allow this woman to see Paulette's two cats that had just been brought in. And when Paulette and this woman insisted, then it turned out that the cats had immediately been put to death. They had been immediately put to sleep the instant they were brought. And this is the same shelter I had taken my cats to. And when they told me the next day that they had both been adopted, I mean, I didn't know whether to believe that or not. And now I'm pretty sure that was not the truth. And it took me a really, really long time to bring another animal into my house after that, and that was Freeway. I got Freeway in Fort Worth when I lived there, and she had already been declawed and neutered. She was a Maine Coon, and she was spectacular. She had these amazing, gorgeous emerald green eyes, and it looked like she had mascara around the eye. I mean, it looks like she had eyeliner on, and this beautiful pink nose, and she had browns and beiges and whites and orange, like some orange off orange. Just a beautiful, beautiful cat. But she wasn't very nice. She was not very nice. And maybe she was paying me back for having taken the first two to their death, which I'm pretty sure that's what happened. She liked to bite. And then I got her a companion, Nina. And Nina was the most beautiful, loving, sweet kitty I ever owned. She was part Siamese. And she never meowed. When I first got her, she purred. She purred. Whenever I would touch her, she would purr. And she was so sweet. She always liked to lay on top of the blankets at night, and I would sleep on my stomach, and she would like get in the cuck of my legs when I was on my stomach. And so then if I ever wanted to turn, I had to do this, engage in this ballet, just not to dislodge her, upset her. And Nina, I made the mistake of having Nina declawed. And it turned out to be a mistake because about 2 years after I had her declawed, I moved into a casita, and that casita eventually a feral cat broke in through a screen window while I was away at work and savaged Nina. It was so bad that she had to end up losing one of her front legs. And she didn't do a whole lot of purring after that anymore. So that was horrible. That was absolutely horrible. And I would never ever again, I would never ever again have a cat declawed after that. I mean, that was so unforeseeable that this feral cat would come flying in through a window screen to do that. But that's what happened. And then there were two more. A tuxedo cat named Misha. He was such a bad boy. But when I had gone to get him, the Espanola Animal Shelter had a display at PetSmart, I think, of all of these cages, all of these kitties. Misha was so laid back, so calm, so peaceful. And I thought, well, this will be good for Nina because she was so freaked out after what happened. And she couldn't catch mice anymore, and I had mice around there. So I brought Misha home, but he was a little whirlwind. He was a little dervish. He liked to just run. He had the zoomies constantly, and he would run so close to Nina that he would just topple her, just zooming past her. And he liked to, but he was the best mouser imaginable. I mean, he was barely 7 weeks old when I got him, and within a week he had caught his first mouse inside the house. And he loved to play with them. He would like throw them up into the air and then chase them some more and then throw them up again, chase them some more, bite them a little bit, chase. I mean, he had so much fun with them. But he got into the habit of eating them, and there was some hunter virus going around in New Mexico during those years, and so I was not really happy about having him eat mice. And so I would take, it got to where I would chase him when he would catch a mouse, and I would catch him and take the mouse away and put the mouse back outside, but which made him very unhappy. He really liked to have his prize once he had caught the mouse and subdued it. And then there was Deva. I got Deva for Misha because Nina really wasn't a good companion for him. And Deva she was so scared all the time. She was always scared. I don't know why. She seemed to have been born frightened, and she never stopped being really frightened. And Misha gave her a really, really hard time. He would go chasing her and taking little bites and chasing her some more. I mean, he had fun. She didn't. And those babies, they lived with me until they were in their teens, 14, 16 years. And when the last of them died, that's when I decided, okay, now I'm going to buy a boat and I'm going to sail to the Caribbean. And I did that. And now I miss having cats in my life, or having pets in my life. But I have managed to not bring one into my condo so that I can take off whenever I want to. So I can go across the country, I can visit, I can go to Europe. And it's really hard when you have an animal that you have to take care of. So that's my kitty stories. I have no regrets with any of the animals I have ever owned. or had or taken care of. They're really wonderful. They make your life so much pleasanter, usually, unless you're walking through down some icy lane in the winter on a cold, dark morning when your dog has to go out and pee, right? Anyway, wishing you a wonderful coming week, and let's try not to think about Trump too much. Everything he touches turns to dung. That's so sad. And he's touched America. We have a lot of work to do once this man goes. All right, let's hope he goes soon, sooner rather than later. On that happy note, I take my leave.